Todos somos la raza cósmica. We're all the cosmic race. Ahora, vamos a hacer un poco de genética. We're going to talk about genetics for a little bit. El reporte de 1995 de CIA, la CIA, which are pretty good liars, say that México, que su base genético es 63% indigenous. El mestizaje es una construcción, no existe. Existe con los animales, it exists with animals. For example, the horse and the donkey. You bring dos especies, two different species, that might have been related a long time ago, together to have offspring that will not be able to reproduce. Okay? That's mestizaje. That's mixing two different species together. We all belong to one species. A long time ago, we got separated. Obviously, some of us ended up here, or we made a life here. Pero cuando llegó el español, he only came to take stuff. Él vino a tomar cosas. Y along the way, to rape. Pero, acuérdense, remember, they were only a couple thousand. We were millions. I don't know. Next. Let's talk about Obama. ¿Es Obama mestizo? He's white and black. En el contexto del mito, in the context of the myth, he is. He's a mestizo. But we all see him as black. Why? Because he looks black. Because we're trapped into thinking that that's what he is. We fall for the trap of mixing bloods. That doesn't exist. It's a myth. You ask any smart biologist or geneticist, that doesn't exist because we can have kids together. Well, you know what I mean. Okay, next. Next. ¿Por qué el español no se llama mestizo? Why doesn't he call himself a mixed blood? Why doesn't he? Why does he call us mestizos? Why? Because el español, el indígena español doesn't exist no more. He's been absorbed by Africans. Next. He's been absorbed by Africans. He's been absorbed by Middle Easterners. He's been absorbed by English, French, Germans, even Scandinavians have gone into Spain, taken the people, enslaved the people, raped the people, and created a new group of people called the Spanish people. But they don't call themselves mestizos. Why do we? If us, as a people, don't have that kind of a history like theirs, they don't even speak their language anymore. The original language of Spain is no longer, it's gone. We still speak Mixteco, Zapoteco, Quechua, Nahuatl. A lot of us still retain our language, our original language. Then why are they forcing on us to call ourselves mixed blood? Why? Because if you're mixed blood, that means I can pull you into my team. Because I'm going to give you special privileges. Because you're not Indian. You're not a dirty Indian. I'm going to give you special privileges. That's why I tell you from young, you're mixed blood. You're also in our team. You also carry our blood. Hence, you shouldn't question what I do. So the construction itself is to be manipulated. Es para manipularnos. Por eso ya la genética sabe muy bien. We're all the same species. We all can have kids together. I mean, look at these two good-looking people over here. Look at the beautiful kids they just had together, right? They don't look there. You know, I'm sure they'll have babies themselves one day. Okay? By buying into that myth, we give them the power to tell us who we are. Dijo una abuela a un cantante que lo puso en un canto, dijo, listen to me, my indigenous brother. Race is one thing, culture is another. Race is one thing, culture is another. Race is a construction, es un mito. Pero la cultura, eso sí, es real.
That's real.
That's a reality. Entonces nosotros, we have to rechazar those myths and learn to call ourselves what we really are. Who we really are. But what about my mom is Peruvian and my mom is Mexican and my dad's Peruvian? Well, guess what? You have two cultures that can help you out. What if a mom is Anglo? Are you Anglo, ma'am? Kind of. This is an example. Okay? Now, when I tell folks like this,
Any volunteers?
when I tell folks like this, I go, you're not white. You constructed that, or you embraced that myth of being white. You belong to a cultural group somewhere in Europe. You need to find out what that is. You could be a Celt.
It's Sami.
You could be a Sami.
Yeah, your great
And there's little pockets in Europe.
The reindeer people.
There's somewhere in Europe, there's probably people that still retain their indigenousness, their culture. It is only when they come here, when somebody tells them, you're no longer that. And if you want privileges, you need to let go of that. And it's time to say, sorry, that I don't buy into that anymore. No. So here's the Spanish. The Spanish, some parts of Spain have African presence. Some parts of Spain have... These guys were around for 700 years. The Europeans have only been here 500 years. But these guys were in Spain for 700 years. Hanging out, having sex. Hey? Over there, that guy in the corner, those guys come from down to Scandinavia and they made their way down to Germany and they eventually made their way into Spain. That's why you see a lot of white Spanish people. Okay? And then finally, these white guys, some of these Mongolian people from the Central Asia area, they came over too. And they left their blood there. And that blood made its way to Spain. So, hay dos cosas aquí. No hay, como dice el dicho, no hay más ciego que el que no quiere ver. Okay? Now, this stuff could be shocking. Because you personalize it, you think, wait a minute, but my grandma, you know, actually my grandma was born in Spain. So if I reject her, then I'm rejecting myself. I'm not telling you that. I'm telling you that this is a myth that is supported at a collective level. And you need to stop supporting it. That's what I'm saying. I'm not telling you to go and reject your people or your immediate family. I'm not saying that to you. Most people will take a person like, wait a minute, my abuelito, he was a German. But remember what happened to the Germans. The Germans were beaten and raped by the Romans. But before the Romans went there, the Romans got beaten and raped. And then they learned that nasty way of being and took it on to other places like Spain and Germany. And then when those people freed themselves, then they went around the world to do the same thing to other people. Because you need to let it go. So don't personalize this. No vas a sentir personalmente como que estoy criticando a tu abuelita. No. Esa gente es víctima de este proceso. They are victims of these myths themselves. But I'm telling you now that I'm trying to wake you up to these myths. Now you can keep adapting the myth como en el Matrix, no? The Matrix people, some people didn't want to wake up. They wanted to stay in the Matrix. They liked the chicken. They had the taste of it, even though it wasn't real. Right? And it's comfortable. The myth is comfortable. Next.
That's right.
We have an identity crisis. We have people calling themselves Hispanic, which is a Latin word, a Roman word for the place of rabbits in the region of Spain. Hispanic. I am from the place of rabbits. Well, my grandpa came. Everybody has a Spanish grandpa. Everybody. That's what we always say, right? And then I asked that young person who said that. I go, which nation does your grandma come from? And they can't answer that question. They always claim the Spanish grandpa or the German one. They never know if their mom was Mixtec, Zapotec, Purépecha, Mayan.